Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Cave Story. So on the last episode we literally just exited the labyrinth and went to the dark place to save where that delicious jaguar head is, and now we are inside the core. So in order to progress further we've got to do a short little puzzle to open up all of these shutter doors. Shutter doors, the two most beautiful words in the English language. I don't care what Tolkien says, shutter is better than cellar. And in any case, we've got kind of a glitch here in that shutter number 4 has stopped, even though it's clearly open enough for us to walk through it without even grazing our heads. But now we have this last little shutter door that we can't open, so we've got to go back up to that terminal at the top and set some more of this Rube Goldberg machine in motion. Yes, I would love to lower the lift. Now that is a multi-use computer. That is like an iPod Touch right there, or an iPhone. Not just a calculator. So we'll come down here now that the lift has been lowered. And at this part, you might be getting a little anxious because you think you're going to die just because of, because you're going to drown. But you're never going to end up in a situation where you don't have enough air to get to the end here. It's just to kind of put that anxiety into you, I guess. Using that computer opens the last shutter door and we can enter a huge room, actually, which will be the centerpiece for most of the rest of this video. Because some pretty serious stuff in respect to the story happens in there. So, you know, that's a major room in the scope of the game. Before I go in there, though, because there's going to be a relatively difficult boss fight that I could easily die at, I'm going to head back to the dark place and make sure to save, so that if I die against the boss, I don't have to go through all of that shutter opening and lift lowering again. I only have 4 missiles left, which is kind of a pain in the ass, considering this boss would go down a lot easier with full missiles, but, you know, we'll deal with it. So you can see Curly up there. It is essential, for reasons that any of you who have played the game will know, that before I talk to Curly, I go down here and pick up this shiny item, the tow rope. That'll come in handy a little bit later. Basically, whether you get that tow rope or not will determine whether you can get a different ending in the game, or whether you can do something differently in the game. I'm trying to say it without any spoilers, but it'll soon be apparent what you can or cannot do based on whether you get that tow rope. So Curly's telling us about all of these robots that we found down here. And are these supposed to be older versions of us? Who knows? I mean, they look like they're a little bit bulkier, maybe a little bit stronger. An older design, maybe the Mark 1 and we're Mark 3. But anyway, that sets in motion the one of the hardest boss fights in the game, actually. Not as hard as Weapon X for my money, but still quite difficult. This is the core, and it is literally nothing like that movie with Aaron Eckhart and what's that Oscar-winning actress's name, who kind of looks like a man and a horse had sex with each other and had a child. Hilary Swank, that's it. Bonus points for anyone in the audience who was shouting that out as I tried to struggle with it. Yeah, so this, basically, you're just going to keep hammering away at that big, I don't know what you would call it, big seed pod, whenever it becomes active, which is actually not most of the time, but, you know, rarely it opens up and you can get a couple of good shots in. The thing that makes this boss fight actually not as bad as Weapon X is the fact that it's pretty easy to avoid the projectiles, and if you shoot the projectiles, they drop hearts or missiles. The thing that makes it difficult is this part right here, where it generates a current that blows you all the way back, and then it shoots those balls at you, and each one of those does, I think, 10 or perhaps 20 damage. So let's put it this way, it does a significant amount of damage. And because you're being kind of pushed away by the current, your mobility is extremely limited at the same time, so you're in a rough spot. Again, oftentimes it will flood the chamber with water, but you are really probably not likely to die from drowning in this situation, unless you were already under the water when the room got flooded, in which case there might be a chance, but if you were surfaced during that time, you'll probably be okay. This is actually one of the best times I've ever had against this boss. I think it's going down relatively easy, as long as you can just keep up your experience and keep your health up by killing the projectiles that they shoot at you. The boss fight isn't really that bad, but the key thing, of course, is to always make sure you avoid those projectiles that they shoot at you after they generate the current. Because if you don't avoid those, you get hit by one or two of those, and you can easily find yourself in dire straits. So, I got kind of lucky jumping over the last one there, but in any case, this boss fight's going pretty well, and if I could just get back up to the top platform here where I could take a shot at the main core, it would probably go down in another round of bullets or so. And I noticed its health went down there when I wasn't even close to it, so I wonder if Curly got a couple of shots in. If so, I think that would be something new for me. I never considered that maybe Curly could attack the boss as well. So in any case, that was probably the best boss fight I've ever had against the core. The first time I played through the game, this gave me a lot of trouble. And of course I didn't save at the dark place again, so I had to go through the shutters every time. So Misery comes in, and that's probably the worst translation in the game when Misery's like, "You're no mother." Anyway, so we find out the core is actually the heart of the island, and somehow it powers it and keeps it above, I don't know, keeps it in the atmosphere. We can't really tell where the island is just yet, but as we get a little bit later in the game and get to actually see the outside of the island, we can get some sense of context. So the doctor shows up, and they take the core back to the laboratory to inevitably do some nasty experiments on it. And now, unlike the last two times that I mentioned this time they flood the chamber, and you absolutely will die. There's no getting around it. You just kind of have to learn to accept your fate. And of course, if you had not seen this and you were playing this for the first time, you're probably freaking out, thinking like, "Oh, holy shit, I'm gonna have to do that fucking boss fight one more time." But no, this is a programmed death. This is Cave Story's version of apoptosis. So, we get this little story bit here, that Jenga had a brother named Balos, and he was extraordinarily powerful, and that will hopefully come into play once we reach the near the end of this Let's Play anyway. So Curly was nice enough to give me her bubbles so I could survive, and if I just attach the tow rope to her, put no there just to tease it for a second, but then I can carry her out. Without the tow rope, she is destined to die here. So picking up that tow rope is essential if you want to save Curly. And saving Curly, I believe, is essential to getting the best ending in the game. So Cave Story does have multiple endings. I'll be showing off a couple of those, but I will not be showing off... actually, I might be able to show off all of them. Anyway, we'll see as we get there. Let's take Curly out through this door, if I could just get through it. And then, of course, we will save in the dark place, because a lot of shit just went down. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.